Hey folks, welcome to the channel. If you're new here, I check in roughly every week to give you progress updates on my path towards hopefully retiring soon. I do have an update on that, which is actually good news, so I'll get into that in just a moment. Today we're just going to do a check-in. I'm going to also go over a meeting I had with my financial planner, and so let's just grab our glasses and get right to it. And if you've noticed a difference in the audio, I did have my decent headphones. They broke about a month ago, and I've been just kind of waiting to get a new headset for a while, and not just on the stream, but also at work. I do a lot of training videos and recordings for people who use the platform that I manage. And I have had some people say, hey, it was kind of hard to hear you in that video, or can you adjust your volume during my training sessions? So I went ahead and got some new headphones, and hopefully these will work a little bit better. So let's just go into first the plan and what my goals are, short term and long term, and medium term. So the whole reason I started this channel was so that I could kind of have some um, way to track what my spending is, so that when I retire, I will be able to know exactly what I need based on like real numbers inside of a workbook. I'm sharing because there may be other people who are facing retirement and are maybe trying to plan for it, maybe even questioning whether they can do it when they want to. So I thought I would share. Also, there would be some accountability, and if I'm sharing that I'm doing something. I don't know if you guys have the same problem, but if I'm doing it for myself, I have less. I'm less liable to actually 100% follow through. It's not like I lack discipline. If something else pretty comes along, I am more inclined to do that. So by sharing, I'm at least having some accountability that I'm going to follow through. So my short-term goals, since I started recording, have been to pay off a debt that I incurred last fall. And I started recording in January, I think, and I did pay off that original debt, but just recently I had some household issues come up and I had to put another $8,000. This was just a couple weeks ago. So within a couple of days of paying off the debt from the fall, I have more debt. And I hadn't had a chance to build up my sinking funds. So it just went straight into debt. I do want to create an emergency fund, which I was really on the way towards doing. But I went ahead and pulled money out of my sinking funds to go ahead and put towards the debt so I could pay that off as quickly as possible. So I still have that as a short-term goal. I do want to fully fund all of my sinks, which are over here. These are all of the sinking funds that I want to fully fund, and it's a lot of money, so it'll take a while to do. I was really hoping to have it done by the end of the year, but with this new repair bill, I highly doubt that's going to happen. But I'll still try to make that a goal. The other thing is my medium-term goals within 5 years. I want to retire. I was hoping to retire in 2 years. My recent visit with my financial planner, I think I could retire in 2 years, but it looks better to retire in 3. There's the analysis that they performed. It looks really good that I would have ample money at the end of my life, which they calculate to be 95 for whatever reason that is. I guess it's just calculations based on my gender, and they did ask about my family members, but I don't think I think they just take a number that uh, comes from somewhere that they use as standard. And living to 95 seems like a long time, but who knows? Um, so my retirement is still spot on. There have been a couple of months where I've really questioned whether that was going to happen, but I'm pretty excited that things are looking good for that. So that's just an update on what my goals are. Uh, so to that end, let's go into July and just kind of do a check-in. And normally I don't highlight like my daughter. So for those who don't know, in my household, I'm a single person. My two children actually live with me. My daughter, who has two boys, I have two grandsons. They are living here. They've been here with me for 6 or so months, um, probably longer than that. She went through a divorce, and with the market being the way it was, she just was hesitant to uh, put money into trying to buy a house. But she recently found a house. They made an offer on it, she and her boyfriend, and the offer went through. They have a final inspection Monday, so she is going to be moving out. And she was talking to me about her lack of budgeting, and I was explaining to her how, there's many ways to do this. So I was explaining to her how to do it. She really liked the color coding. She really liked the fact that I had these categories. This really appealed to her. So we were talking about the budget categories and finding categories that matched her actual budget. Um, and doing things differently. She does not like the idea of putting dining out with food. She said, dining out for her is a non-necessity. I kind of group food and dining as a necessity. Sure, dining out's a convenience, but particularly when you're a single person, dining out can be as cost effective as going to the grocery store. So when we were talking about how you lay out your month, and she gets paid weekly, I think, I said, well, if you want to use like a big calendar like this, then you can color code it and say that you know all of the bills that are in this particular paycheck are going to be highlighted in pink that need to come out of this paycheck. So we were just talking about how she might like to lay that out. So I was just showing her on here. I don't need this because I use this. For me, this is more what I look at than this. This is just a rough high overview. So just in case you're wondering why that's in there and it looks different. I went into, it's really funny, I went into my cell phone login, and when I went in, it says, hey, for being such a great customer, we're going to give you $10 off every month. So I was like, what's going on here? So that's a good thing. Where most bills are going up these days, my cell phone company has decided that starting next month, my cell phone will decrease, which is awesome. So we're here today. I'm just going to go over what happened here. As you know, this is where I was talking about that meeting with my financial planner, and everything's looking great. I'm super excited about that. As far as expenses go this week, let's just get into that. This was last week. We already went over that. So for this week, I had a couple of bills that came in, but nothing significant. All of these kind of hit within a day or two of each other right at the end of the month. So here is where we're at. So as I mentioned, I did buy the headsets. The headset, hopefully that the audio is much better for you guys. I put it in household and not in my YouTube expense category because I need this not just for the YouTube channel, but also for work. I guess arguably I could have arguably I could have asked my boss to purchase the headset for me, but because I knew I was going to be using it personally, I didn't want to do that. Because I know I'm going to retire in 2 or 3 years. Although he'll probably need a replacement by then, but whatever. Um, I took my grandson out to grab a little snack when we went out to the library yesterday. Um, but I tried to, I didn't buy drinks. I just went as minimal as possible because, I'm still trying to pay off that debt. So whatever I do, I'm going to try and make sure I do it as cost effectively as possible. So not much happening there. Um, and I did, so this right here, of course, it's a managed account, so there are fees that are associated with it. And every year, about this time of year, I contribute to like a little savings account that Edward Jones manages, so that when fees are pulled out, they don't come out from my investment account. They come out from a cash account. So this is just to uh, beef up that account for the fees, and this will be for the year. I shouldn't have to put any more money into this for the rest of the year. Let's see. And then I had another $14. I must have bought something with, I saw it. I haven't gone in and looked at Amazon, but it looks like it was a video purchase. But I don't know what the video was. It's possible that my daughter bought something for the boys, but I don't know what it is. So that got pulled, and if she bought something, typically she'll reimburse me for it. But I don't know what it is. I'll have to go into Amazon to look. As far as the savings go, I'm not contributing to that right now until the debt is paid off. And here you can see the debt is 5,600. I do expect to put some money into that. And if we look at what's happening with this paycheck, and the next paycheck I get is next Friday. So Thursday or Thursday or Friday, I will be transferring some money. It looks like it's going to be around $1,000. It may be just a smidge less since I bought these headphones, but it's going to be pretty close, which is okay. It's not great, but it's okay. So that will get that down then to 4,600 instead of 5,600, which will be great. As far as the rest of the book goes, I really don't have anything else to report in here. There's nothing on here that we haven't already seen. I did make a debt payment of $2,500 on my first paycheck for July. And the main reason it was so high is because if you don't know, I went on a business trip, and when I was there, I actually paid for everything, even like the hotel rooms and the all of the things that I had to buy while I was there just to, eat. I was actually able to pay out of um, my checking account with that, and whatever was charged on my charge account was paid for with my final debt payoff amount. That I was so excited about, and then, whatever. So the reimbursement that I got went straight into here. It went straight into that, so that's why I had a little bit more. Because typically the beginning of the month, I don't have a whole lot left over. Just the way the bills line up, I'm kind of loaded heavy on the amount of money I spend at the first part of the month. But I if I could put $3,500 onto the debt in 1 month, I feel pretty good about that. And that pretty much covers it for this week. Not a whole lot going on. There are some good things to report, like the $10 off my phone bill, and actually getting a positive feedback, because they have been negative on the feedback for years. And I think what happened was um, they were not calculating in their forecast the fact that I was putting money regularly into a separate account. They were only counting the amount of money that was in their account. And even though I would give them the update every single time we met, somehow or another it didn't translate into the analysis that they perform. So I was actually talking to a new person this time, and she was able to get all of that stuff into the calculation, and it really changed the outlook significantly. So I think that was what the problem was in the past. Because I was performing calculations on other websites myself, and I was like, why do all of these other websites, when I give them all of the details, tell me that I'm in good shape, but then when I go to Edward Jones, they tell me that I'm not? And I was beginning to think that it was so if you think in terms of a managed account and you think of it in terms of a brokerage account, what is their purpose? Now, they are a fiduciary to me, meaning that they are supposed to take my um, needs and goals into account, and they're supposed to be doing it in a manner that does it makes the most sense for me as far as cost. But we don't know that for sure, right? It's like we can trust them. The person I deal with, who manages that brokerage account, he comes highly recommended in the community. I've had multiple people recommend him as my fiduciary for those funds, and that's why I transferred them from another account into his, and that was years and years ago. But in the end, you don't know 100% sure what people are thinking about. And I was beginning to think that maybe he was not thinking about me. He was thinking about, well, what's good for the company and what's good for my numbers when I'm reporting to the company, because these things happen all the time. People are not even aware of it. And so I was starting to think that until this visit. And I was going to bring it up too. If it still came in at a like a 70 some percent reliability to retire, I would have said, look, I've gone to these other sites and they're all telling me that I'm in good shape. Why is it that this analysis is so different than everyone else's? So I'm glad that now we're in alignment, and I don't feel now like they're not giving me the right information. Because if they tell me that I need to work for another, 5 years, then I'm going to be putting more money. The money's going to grow in their account, and they're going to receive, um, however they receive their fees, right? They either through me or through the companies that they're sponsoring, I guess. Um, so I was starting to worry about that just a little bit, even though they came highly recommended. So anyway, I always get on these tangents. Sorry, guys. That pretty much covers it for this week. I will be producing a August monthly setup. I'll probably get it recorded and maybe publish it out tomorrow. And that will be on the 27th, provided that nothing goes sideways, where something else more exciting like a trip to the cove on a kayak or something. All right, well, I will talk to you then.